Presenting to you
the interactive space for critical and objective open thinking.
Floating in Space with Martian UFO. Produced by Martian UFO Media. The best podcast on air with your hearty host. Catch episodes weekly on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's currently midnight, July 7th, 2020. I'm currently sitting in my vehicle, just staring at the full moon right now, you know. Love the moon. Looking up at the stars, sipping on some soda, enjoying some medicine, of course. And yeah, man, I was just thinking about a topic. Wanted to get into a little something. I know this one, I don't even know if a lot of people are aware of this one or, yeah, but you know, controversial topics. PornHub. If you know anything about the current events with PornHub, they're trying to end PornHub basically. The idea is that, right now they have an issue where they don't know, or I guess there's research or data that shows that there may be anywhere from like 23% of the girls on PornHub may or may not be underage, and ties into the issue of, you know, human trafficking and where these girls are coming from. And you don't know if you go onto the site, you type in whatever. They was talking about the problem of like people are in this day and age looking at stuff that depicts more violent types of scenes, you know, depicts rape and things like this, because it's a crazy issue, man. While you got all this stuff happening in the world, you got as many people, or so we think maybe, who go onto this site and that's the kind of material they're searching up, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm gonna step back for a second and kind of just look at the issue of pornography itself, I guess. Because I mean, for me personally, here's where it's at. Hey, like, check it out. My first introduction to porn or sex of any kind was in I think grade 4 or 5, and at the time I was living in Brooks with my family. And so if I was in grade 4 or 5, I must have been maybe 12, 13, or around those ages, 11 maybe. And I remember the day, I come home from school. I think I was going to like the Brooks Elementary, Brooks Composite, whatever the schools are called out there. And I come home pretty early with my brother. And I think about this event now, like later in life, and how this happened. And it's almost like it was meant to happen, because my stepdad, I don't know, and I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming, and I pieced together the story after like seeing it happen and based on everything that happened. But I came home basically and found some porn magazines that were a part of the Daily Mail that day. You know how back in the day you used to have an actual mailbox attached to the side of your house or by the door or whatever. And so somebody had apparently brought the mail inside, but here are these magazines like all strewn over the living room floor, as if, I don't know, if somebody forgot them there, if he hadn't come home yet and didn't know about them, if my mom had been home, found them, and then, you know, in a fit of anger or something, just threw them, forgot about them. But I took these magazines. I looked through these magazines. Grade 4 or 5. I'm looking through these magazines. And little old me, right? I decided to keep them, and I put them in my school backpack. And for the next couple of days, couple of weeks, me and my childhood friend at the time, his name's Kyrell, we're looking all through these magazines, you know, yeah. And I think what ended up happening was, because I was a kid, you know, every day I'd come home from school, what my mom did was unload my backpack for me. She would unload my my lunch kit, things like this, look at my homework, if there was anything for, you know, a parent to sign, whatever. And lo and behold, she finds these magazines. And man, I was in some trouble, because now at this time, for whatever reason, we didn't make the sex ed education day, whatever it was at that time. They had a day in class. I don't think I'd been in school that day, or something happened, so I missed it. And my introduction to sex and porn and things like this became the exploration of these magazines. And then later on, when we first got like our first desktop computer, I remembered those things. I remembered what porn was, and I guess there you have it. Fast forward to today, because you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, I don't watch porn anymore, and I don't do this, and blah blah whatever. But I think it really takes some I'm not gonna say soul searching, but you gotta live life, right? Like, you have to decide why porn really isn't important to you anymore. And honestly, I can tell you guys, like, I don't watch porn no more. I'm focused on some different things, and it took me a while. Growing up took me a while, you know, because we were all 18, 19, 20. I'm 24 now, so you can see, like, a couple of years or whatever, just to figure out where my life is going, figure out the focus, figure out kind of just the distraction that it held for me, and why I even was fixated on porn, right? Because here's the thing. I used to watch those videos where doctors would talk about, you know, there's an issue with young males, 20-year-old to 30-year-old males or whatever, watching too much porn, and suddenly it's messing with their heads, and they can't communicate with women anymore, and things like this. And I'm like, yo, fuck, like, I don't want to stop being able to talk to girls, or having normal conversations, things like this. So I guess from a little bit of a younger age, I was kind of trying to stop then. And now I look at it like, I mean, I'm just wasting my time. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather have an engaging conversation with somebody, or do something else. And don't get me wrong, you know, like, getting aroused and things like this, but using that trigger, that emotion, that testosterone, whatever, in a different way, manifesting it in a different way where you can share that with the person, things like this, and you don't need pornography anymore, right? I think I personally can see that as a much better alternative. And speaking of alternatives themselves, like, another thing that comes to mind, another friend of mine, and I'm glad that she brought attention to this. I'm not sure if people even paid attention to it, you know, because everybody shares things on Snap, and who knows who's really paying attention, who's focusing on it, and who's not. I'm not going to reveal this person's name, because I'm still not sure about the comfort of I guess being revealed on a podcast, or me actually saying, like, oh, here you are, this and that. But this female friend of mine, she posted a story about different alternative sites to PornHub that are ran by, I guess, private people, organizations that are trying to, you know, alternatives in different LGBTQ groups. I'm sorry if I fucked that up. Yeah, things where, you know, they can verify that all the actors are actually a certain age, and nobody's being abused or hurt or forced to do anything in any kind of way. And so for anybody who actually watches porn, or that's still a part of your life, right? Or Pornhub is one of your favorite sites, whatever it is. Imagine kind of redirecting your focus to there, and then not having, because, you know, you think about how much you watch or what you're watching, like what that does to your brain, the effect that it has subconsciously that you don't even think about. It's a problem. It's a problem. And now I'm gonna talk about Pornhub in itself, because the initiative to end Pornhub, right? Like, this is almost like saying end porn in itself, because Pornhub, I don't know, Pornhub's been around for a very long time, right? Pornhub, I personally would say that Pornhub is a conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that means like the fucking porn monopoly came and ate the fucking monopoly, and now they're the monopoly. Like, they're fucking huge, you know? Which brings to mind, like, the people that are backing Pornhub, their advertising partners, all their affiliate networks, things like this. People that don't want the network to shut down, what's their reaction going to be? What's their reaction now? You know, how effective is an initiative to end Pornhub going to be? Because I think I remember they tried to do something like this a couple years ago. Can't remember when it was. And as you can see, you know, Pornhub's still running. When they tried to shut down the internet as a whole, the internet is still active, still working for most of us in North America anyways. And yeah, I wonder, like, if it could actually happen, what the everyday person's reaction would be who actually uses Pornhub, things like this. If it could actually, like, because me, I would have no problem, right? I wouldn't mind seeing an end to Pornhub. I'm not sure definitively if I can say, you know, who on there is not having a good time, who's underage, you know, things that just fucking shouldn't be happening. Because you think about it, those are, you know, bear with me, like, those are people's sisters, daughters, presumably, right? They could be. And the research, the data, it's not bullshit data. People have gone out and done this research, and I'm thinking whoever is leading the initiative, whoever's spearheading this fight against Pornhub, against porn itself, basically, they probably have some confidence, right? They know that this has happened before. They tried to do it. And you got to think about the different lobbyist groups, the different groups that when they get together and they start making a bunch of noise and they get the media on their side and all this kind of stuff, they can have some type of power, some effect. You remember R. Kelly? You ever thought R. Kelly was gonna go to jail and actually be in prison, and everybody started talking? Next thing you know, nigga can't get shows no more. He can't sell his merchandise, and now he's in jail. All right, I'll give you guys another simple example. Cigarettes. So I was thinking about this before, and bear with me because to this point yet, and doing this podcast stuff, I haven't written down anything yet. It's kind of just coming off the top of the dome and whatnot. Cigarettes. I remember, and some people might not remember, right? I remember I have conversations with people who smoke and cigarette smokers, and it's always, they end up being annoyed a lot of the times. That's what their emotion is, because they used to remember when cigarette packages were all different. You know, you could differentiate between the brands. You know, there was king size, there was things like this. And now, if you're a cigarette smoker, you know that if you go to the convenience store, wherever you go to buy your smokes, the packages are all the same. It's this little brown packaging with the lettering on the top. It tells you what brand it is, and there's no king size. You're either getting, you know, your Pall Mall or your Canadian Classic, whatever you like to do. And I remember this. I remember, you know, I used to work with a dude, some bullshit job or whatever, a year ago, something like that. And when I would leave, I'd be off before him. He would ask me to go and get his smokes or something like that if he had to stay late. And I didn't know at the time. I've never bought smokes from anybody. This is my first time. And so I'm going to the store, convenience store. I go in there and I ask for something blue, king size. And the lady's looking at me, and he said it a couple of times. She was saying that, you know, no, they don't have no king size no more because of the new changes and things like this. And I didn't understand, right? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought, like, I don't smoke. So he just said king size, blue, this or that. And yeah, that's what it was. And so you think about this change. This is across Alberta now. You can't go anywhere and get, you know, find the different, you're buying whatever smokes you got. If you fucked up and they gave you the wrong type or the wrong brand, you know, they didn't know because it's all brown now. It's all brown packaging. They have to really be careful at the store with what they're selling you. And you think about how did this happen? Who went and said or thought that, you know what, fuck this, like, I'm tired of how much people are smoking. I want to annoy the smokers a little bit. Their whole goal, I think, really was to that maybe, I don't know, people would stop smoking. I heard that it was supposed to be for kids, so that you would make it less appealing to children. You know, they wouldn't want to look at smokes or a package that was just plain looking and things like this. And it makes sense. But really the whole big picture about that is that, yeah, you know, this is the tobacco, gaming, and liquor group, I think, right? That controls all this. And certainly, I think somebody threatened them enough or threatened their money, or, you know, people were making noise, and it had somebody scared enough to make this change across all of Alberta that now smokes are like this. And you can look across current events the last couple of years and the last 5 years. Anytime that, yeah, like I said, like a group gets on social media or gets on the media itself, they start making noise and attention, they want to shut down a certain company, it can happen. So this might be, you know, an ongoing issue. We're going to see what happens to PornHub and all its many users. And yeah, man, I'm just going to leave you guys with that tonight. Enjoy your night and keep floating.